Hi everyone, I'm Sonia Rybus from Harbinger's Film and Book Club, and today I'm here with our editor, Kaja Majewska, and our two new writers, Ola Dymmel and Ania Waszkiewicz. Today we're here at the Oscar night to discuss Best Picture nominations and who we think is gonna win. Kaja, what are your predictions?
I think that One Battle After Another has the biggest chance to win Best Picture awards because of the shots and this tension being in the shots. And now I'm referring to the breathtaking scenes of the car chase in the desert. I think all the colors are matching up perfectly, and it is quite of a unique picture, and that's why I think it has the biggest chance to win. What about you, Anya?
Yeah, I also agree with you because I think it tackles so many like political and important for society aspects, and also like the characters are like so strongly depicted. I love this part that like everyone like played so beautifully, like it was so strong.
And Yola?
Well, on the other hand, I think Sinners has a great chance to win the Best Picture category. Well, the film also tackles timeless political issues that are present in America from the 1930s till now. Also, I love the style. It's original, it's Southern Gothic, and it really resonates with me.
Oh, that's nice. I think I'm also a bit lost. I agree. One Battle After Another really did also strike me, but Sinners also a timeless classic. But I must say that I was also quite surprised, nicely surprised by Marty Supreme and Hamnet. These were also films that really spoke to me. So I was kind of surprised that they're not in the, top of this horse race between Sinners and One Battle After Another.
It's probably because of what Timothy Chalamet said early this month. But you guys, Sonia and Anya, saw Sinners and One Battle After Another. Coming back to this Best Picture topic. So what would you guys say that, because both of you tasted these movies, and what do you guys think, which one would be the best?
Between Sinners and One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
For me,
overall,
for me it's difficult, but I think for me One Battle After Another takes the edge because it's really important for me that it tackles, One Battle After Another was filmed in 2025, even earlier probably it began filming, but it still managed to hit such a important spot right now with the things happening in the United States with immigration, ICE, and I think this is so important and so strong in this movie. While Sinners is also a classic, but tackles more issues that are very, common in many films, right? They're important, but racial issues and this segregation is present in many films. So I think that One Battle After Another is a really big hit for this year. What about you, Anya?
Yeah, I think I would probably say the same because like One Battle After Another is like I think a really recent problem, while the Sinners depicted it was a beautiful history of like Jim Crow era and like this connected with like traditional music and Black history. It was really beautiful, but for me the more important aspects were tackled in One Battle After Another because as Sonia said, like I think it would connect to ICE and what's generally happening.
Yeah, and if I can add also, this is for Sinners. I think it's really nice that Sinners manages to combine these three completely different topics, which are, Black history and the lives of African American people. Also blues music, which is a very strong theme in this movie. And it's kind of, not very different, but these are two themes that don't often clash together. And thirdly, this whole topic of, death and bringing back to life and overall music. These are three completely different topics that I think integrate together so nicely in this movie. I don't know, Ola, what you think.
Well, I really was struck by the theme of bringing back people to life, of creating this community where supposedly everyone is living together by the rules of only love, no segregation, no racial problems, and the way that to achieve this community, they had to get the musician. I think that was quite amazing.
So guys, any other movies that like what would you say the next best thing to be except One Battle and After Another and Sinners? What do you think would be Hamnet, Marty Supreme? What are your
I think it would be Bugonia by
Mm.
Yorgos Lanthimos, because I think it is also an amazing movie. It has so much tension. It's about a psychological disorder. It's about a person who is in the state of mania. And I have never seen a movie that depicts it so good, of this mania state, and how the main character thinks that is an alien, and it just sends shivers down the audience's spine. And also the pictures were amazing, how the colors were at first they were very cold, but also hot, as in comfortable for the people to be in this state of mania, but also of this coldness where Emma Stone is in danger because she's getting kidnapped. And I think it's an extremely unique movie. However, I don't think it is the same as in... it's not in the same theme category as Marty Supreme or One Battle After Another. What do you guys think?
Well, I would say the next one definitely for me would be the Marty Supreme, because it's a such a tense action and Timothy played really good. And you could say that, like, I think it was a really good movie which showed that, like, a humans need to, like, achieve what you want to achieve in your life. He did so many things. Lost he did so many things that led him to be in the end place. Like, he won the grand prize, but like, what did it left him behind with? He actually left behind his love and, you know, his home, but at the end he somehow achieved what he wanted to achieve. So
Yeah, I agree. That's interesting. But I also read a really interesting analysis that many people misinterpret it. I mean, this is, of course, a history of journey and, you know, achieving what you want. But this is also a story about a very narcissistic and very man that actually pushed away everyone and everything in his way, hurt other people just to achieve his goals. And in the end, he kind of didn't achieve them. I mean, his ultimate goal that he achieved, that he didn't even know he would want to, is to like have his child and be with his child, which was very kind of heartwarming. And the music at the end, I don't know about you guys, but I was breathtaking by it. Yeah. It was very nice.
But also how in Marty Supreme we see this narcissistic character. I didn't even like him that much. He was hurting people, as Sonia said before. And but at the end of the whole movie, I found myself rooting for him. I wanted him to win that match. I wanted him to succeed, even though I didn't even like him. That's why I think this movie is also very original in how it plays in the audience, right?
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, maybe it's something like that everyone sees a piece of themselves in Marty. I mean, it is something that we all want to achieve. But also, coming back to the last scene, I adored the music that was played in. And I think we also can mention a bit that Sinners is probably the most favorable for winning the music category in the Oscars. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, the music in One Battle After Another was also, I mean, it was so unique and so different. I mean, the single piano chords and the single, like, very specific music tones to the tone of the movie, it was very interesting. And also, what I wanted to mention is that I know if you guys remember the scene when, like, Sean Penn, Stephen J. Lockjaw, but... is Sean Penn is looking at Perfidia, and this kind of unorganized rhythmic music is playing. I think it was really nice to show how he was completely in a chaotic mindset and how he couldn't even find his own harmony. I mean, I think the music used there was brilliant. Like, even Sinners had very classic and very nice blues overall music theme, but this one was very unique. I adored it.
Yeah.
You know, the one scene in Sinners, like, which gave me goosebumps, like, I don't know if you know this, guys, but the scene where the clubs burn down in flames and there's, like, a mixture of, I think, like, every age, like, 2020 I could see there, like, 1920s, like, every character you could think of, and the people were just, like, amused, dancing in the flames, and it was just, like, so coordinated. The music was getting louder and louder and louder, and the scene was, like, slowly stepping back. You were slowly stepping back, which was like dancing around the flames. And I think the music played a really good role there, and it like showed how powerful the history actually is.
Yeah, I think this scene is like encapsulated in our minds. This one
Yeah.
frame where everything is burning down and they're all dancing without a care. Yeah, that's a very strong scene.
And also, the last thing about that scene, I think the way that the most ancient to the most modern music produced by Black artists, it shows how from the beginning till now they face similar problems and similar issues in the society.
And what do you guys think about Hamnet?
I also loved it. It was very sad for me and a very interesting. It's very interesting to see how this history of William Shakespeare, such a known figure, is shown from his wife's perspective, and also about the fact that even though he's such a greatly widely known figure, he still had like everyday issues and a life and these kind of problems that all of us have. It was very sad and interesting to see. I mean,
Do you think it stands the chance to be considered after Sinners or One Battle After Another in Best Pictures?
I think it might be, but I still think that One Battle After Another and Sinners have like a majority of the votes, and I think it's gonna be between them. But I think it's really nice, and I think it's almost 100% that Jessie Buckley will win the Best Actress. I think no other performance compares. It was such a real performance and so heartbreaking that I think that this is definitely gonna win. So I'm happy that at least it will win something for sure. Yeah, guys. So what else? One of my favorite scenes in One Battle After Another, as Yukaya mentioned, was the last chase scene. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it kind of showed the whole theme of the whole movie and the title in itself, One Battle After Another. Since, as we know, the chase scene shows these roads that are kind of shaped as hills. And I think this perfectly shows how...
As waves.
Yeah, as waves, as Sensei said. And how each of these hills represent that even if we battle one battle, it's always one after another. And I mean, overall, this whole theme of hills in the movie, I mean, in each secret code there were hills, there were different mentions of this, which is really nice how it all clicked together. Right?
Yeah, how it was depicted, the metaphor, it was getting analyzed through every single scene, through every single picture.
Yeah, but also like the way they placed together the father and daughter, like they were so close but so far away, like they were like totally contradicted by their own experiences, and they were totally lost and trying to find each other.
And that's Paul Thomas Anderson production, right?
Yes.
Do you guys like his movies?
I love them. I watched some time ago There Will Be Blood.
Me
As
too.
you know, it was I have the words. It was beautiful. And we also know Phantom Thread, Magnolia. These are all wonderful movies. Although he has been nominated a few times, he hasn't won anything yet.
He hasn't won an Oscar.
Yeah, so this might be his year, but
I hope it will be his year because he deserves it.
Definitely.
When I was sure that he won after There Will Be Blood, because even for the acting, for whatever, the whole movie was so amazing. And he still didn't. So I think that after One Battle After Another, it is a well-deserved Oscar, guys.
I agree. I mean, I looked at One Battle After Another and I simply saw these one scenes from the movie where you could like capture it into a beautiful photo. It was perfect. I mean, even the colors, how it was everything planned out, it was superb.
Yeah, definitely. Like the precise composition and long shots were just beautiful, and how like he played with music and silence. Do you remember maybe the scene where the daughter was hiding with the nuns? There was a scene where they were looking for her, and she was just like hiding behind the door, like standing there silent and just waiting what's about to happen for her. And like the silence was so strong, and yeah, I also think it like greatly showed the tension and like her fear at the moment. Like the music was like, it wasn't even needed. Like he played so beautifully with like those composition of silence, which were like a breakthrough for a character.
Let's talk about the costumes. Maybe Frankenstein, Hamnet.
I think Hamnet had some great costumes, although I also must say that I adore Avatar overall as a movie, so that always has a place in my heart. But
do you think we should consider it as a costume since it was CGI?
That's difficult to say, but I mean, I always feel that Avatar is kind of left out, as it always wins the CGI, but it kind of doesn't win anything else. So I think the costumes, at least, and I think everything, the colors and the like specific how they're dressed and how they're portrayed, the avatars it's beautiful. So I think it could win, but I think Frankenstein still has majority of the votes and the like leading. Yeah.
So Hamnet doesn't stand a chance.
I don't think so, frankly.
Okay.
I really like the movie, but I think the costumes weren't the most important thing, and I think, yeah.
What do you guys think about Frankenstein?
Well, definitely Frankenstein, because like I think how they dress Mia Goth, like she has a really fragile, like really natural pale beauty, and the way they dressed her, like those dresses and the hairstyles, that was just beautiful. And the way they did with Jacob Elordi, he actually sat 10 hours in the chair waiting for the makeup to be done, and it was just so realistic. And I don't know, the colors and everything, I didn't even know it was him before I watched the movie. I think it was like amazing. It was mind-blowing, I think.
When I saw him at first, when I was watching Frankenstein, and I saw his character, I could not stop thinking that he looks like he's CGI. Because he looked so unreal, and when I saw that it's actually him, it's actually just the makeup, to be honest, I was a bit frustrated, because what do you mean it looked like it was CGI, but he was genuinely there? I did not like that at all, because that means that there were some kind of obstacles there in the production. But I definitely appreciated how Mia Goth's costumes were not so simple as in the color theory, as in, oh, she feels love, so she's gonna wear red or something, because they were more unique with the headpieces, yeah. And so I definitely appreciate that they didn't just go into the obvious metaphors of colors.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I have to return to something in directing, and I think the Paul Thomas Anderson is like the leading choice. But you must say that Ryan Coogler also had some great, input into, of course, great input. He made the movie Sinners, but some great choices and some great things, right? For example, for me, the last sequence of scenes overall, when they're standing in the lake after almost everyone has been killed, it was beautiful with the sunset. I think this also has some majestic scenes. What do you guys
Do you
think?
guys think, talking about Sinners, that the vampire theme isn't too much? Isn't it too forced?
I must say that at first, when I watched the movie for the first time, I was really reluctant. I watched the whole vampire intro when they introduced, and frankly, I was maybe not a bit disappointed, but it felt really forced and kind of, it didn't fit. I mean, this movie about blues and this kind of racial division, and suddenly vampires come in. Yeah. But after thinking about it more and even watching it the second time, I think it's really nice how these completely different themes clash together, and it kind of and it's really interesting to see, since this is considered a horror, to be nominated for Best Pictures. That's a very rare thing. Yeah. So, what do you guys see?
I also at first felt that the vampire theme was maybe a bit forced. Yeah. But later, when I thought about it more thoroughly, I saw the symbols that were in it and what it actually might have represented. And I was way less reluctant after that.
And I also noticed that, I don't know if you know this, guys, but the whole thing, the Sinners, have a completely ginormous historical background, since I didn't get this from the context at first, I must say, but Michael B. Jordan, who portrays the two twins, actually are, supposed to portray part of Al Capone's group, and the whole story of the fact that they're coming back into their hometown to visit their hometown is actually an underlying cause for the fact that they robbed Al Capone and the whole money robbed it, and now are escaping. So this is a completely historical background, historical context, and I even read that the name of the city that the story takes place in is also has context and is historically important. So this is so thought through, and maybe it isn't obvious at first glance, but it's so thought through and important in the story that
But One Battle After Another is also historically important, but more not historically but presently important with what is happening in the USA. How Sean Penn, Steve Lockjaw is this mix of Trump, of Elon Musk, of
Yeah.
all of these misogynistic and males who have
A complex. I
a
mean,
complex of
it's-
masculinity. So it's this mix of this person who is pathetic for everyone, but he is the only one who isn't laughing at what he's doing with himself. So do you guys think that this political theme and how controversial it is for those who are for Trump, do you guys think that it is going to be helpful for the movie, or will it bring it down?
I think it will definitely help it. I mean, it will be
Yeah.
a shock for Trump to see it win Best Picture, but it's definitely helping it and making it more hyped up, you could say. And I also think it's really interesting how it doesn't portray one side that, leftist and right side people as, good and bad, but it actually portrays completely two different countries where we see this whole revolutionary group, the French 75, but we can also see that they're kind of also, you couldn't say bad, but they sacrifice the lives of many people. They don't really care about if other people get hurt. I mean, they bomb everything. They fight for the good, but they don't really fully understand what they're doing. They try to bomb, intercept things, but they don't fully understand it. The same on the other side, the right, as you say, the right wing, like representation, Sean Penn, he completely embodies Trump, Elon Musk, the whole phenomena with Charlie Kirk. I think he's kind of
Yeah.
an embodiment of this, but at the same time, it's a funny storyline how he's submissive towards black woman Perfidia. So it's completely two different countries, and we can't really. I mean, we're for one side, but they're both not perfect. It's really shocking how they managed to interconnect that.
I also wrote a comment on Letterboxd. If the president sees this, he will either ban movies or kill himself. Do you guys think that Trump can actually do something with the movie, or maybe if he's going to post a statement after the Oscars, because it's pretty clear who's gonna win.
I think he might post something. He might be mad, but for him to intercept something as the Oscars would be, I
Yeah.
think, would be crazy. So I don't think he's gonna go that
That would
far.
be
but
history.
yeah, it would be. So I don't think so, but we'll see. So guys, I think One Battle Another for me, I think takes the edge after everything we've said, and I think that the symbols. I think we have time to talk about all the trees, the everything has symbols in this movie, which for me is shocking. And I don't think if you guys had this feeling, but during the movie, I kind of had the feeling that the times were mixing. Like I didn't really know fully the time. The future kept mixing with the past. That I felt that we were kind of in the 1970s, but then in more the present. Some of the scenes, it was kind of baffling for me. I don't know if you guys felt that.
Yes, I felt that indeed. But I wanted to say about how Leonardo DiCaprio is in this movie, who is perceived as one of the greatest actors of
Our century.
our century. So what do you guys think about this theory that Leonardo DiCaprio was just, people expected of him more as an actor, but his role was not as demanding as Sean Penn's role. That's why Sean Penn had more of the space to show off his amazing acting skills. But Leonardo DiCaprio, on the other hand, was getting high in the movie and doing practically nothing. But then in the chase scene, the most breathtaking, the most significant scene in the whole movie, he kind of redeems himself. He's there. He's doing his very known now whistle, talking in Spanish to other people. We don't know if it was improvised, but it looked like it, and it was genius. So do you guys think that he redeemed himself, or he still is in the shadow of Sean Penn?
Well, I don't know, like people say that like he did not play like fully, but as you said, I agree. It was like the role was not as demanding, but at the end, I could really appreciate the fact that like his character fought. It was like a fight with himself, that like to go against the struggles of like being a drug addict and like alcoholic at house. Like he did not care about his daughter, and the daughter was hiding actually from him. Like she did not really she was not really part of his life, and at the end he just like left it all behind to go find her, and it was like really strong breakthrough, and yeah.
I agree, but I think that, as you said, Leonardo DiCaprio's role wasn't maybe as demanding, but it was especially portrayed like this. I don't know if you could see, guys, but Leonardo DiCaprio's role, the thing he played in the movie, I mean, he constantly tried to do something. He chased his daughter for all the way, but he constantly didn't manage to do it, actually. Someone always kept saving him. He couldn't do anything himself. Everything went wrong from him, but he still persisted to do this. That's why I think Leonardo DiCaprio showed this perfectly, because this is how his role was designed, to actually not kind of achieve anything. I mean, the one time Sensei saved him, someone else, he was always in trouble and not actually managed to do anything, but he played this perfectly. I think one of my favorite scenes was also towards the end, when he spoke a bit of like bad Spanish to find his daughter. It was so funny for me, and he played it so well that I really think that for this.
He was also an entertainment in this movie, getting us to laugh. So do you guys think that if Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn were to switch roles, do you guys think it would still look good, or it's okay? It's nice that they had their own roles and it was perfect like it was.
I mean, I think it was perfect. Frankly, Leonardo DiCaprio matches this role so well, and Sean Penn, it was so like his acting was brilliant, and his mannerisms, and even, I don't know if you guys know it, but his walk was probably the most iconic thing. I mean, I couldn't believe how he learned how to walk all over again, basically, just to walk for this role. And even towards the last scene, when he's sitting in his new office, if you could actually watch the movie from this scene, I would actually feel sad for him if I didn't know the context of this movie. I actually felt like sad and sorry for this man, but I think that's basically brilliant acting. I don't know if you guys agree, but...
And also how he was... Also, Leonardo DiCaprio was an entertainment, but Sean Penn was also a big entertainment. For me, the last scene where his face is all messed up, he comes into the office and he becomes what he always wanted to become. But in the end, he still gets played, and he still is the pathetic one, the one they make fun of.
And and even I must say that Willa, who plays the daughter, I mean, Willa is her name in the film, she also she's a brilliant actress. I mean, I think this is her like debut film. I don't even know if she's acted anything. She's very young. She played also very well, and I think the perfect image she creates of being a mix of her father, and I mean her father Leonardo DiCaprio, and her mother. I mean, it's a perfect mix, as like... In one of the scenes, Leonardo DiCaprio is called a stump compared to Perfidia, and I think she perfectly mixes how she's kind of reserved and, observant, the daughter Willa, but she's also kind of like her mother. She wants to fight and she wants to take action. It's a perfect balance, and it's not being forced, but it actually is shown very nice in the movie. But what do we have to get back to? Michael B. Jordan's iconic role as the twins, right? I mean, that's also probably the biggest buzz for Best Actor. What do you think about it? Because I think there's mixed opinions whether he deserves to win Oscar. I mean, was it that difficult to play twins? What do you think, guys?
Well, I believe it might have been quite difficult to play twins, as even though they're similar, they're twins, they're still pretty different, and their mannerisms, their way of speaking was not the same, and playing something so similar yet so different might have been a bit challenging.
That's true. What do you guys think?
I think it's debatable because of the movies such as Parent Trap. I believe it was played by the main role of also twins by Lindsay Lohan, and she was a child there. I think she was 13, and she made it perfect. I'm pretty sure Lindsay Lohan is not such an amazing actress such as Michael B. Jordan. So I think for him, it was definitely easier than harder.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I also could see, like, I mean, I think I've noticed, like, the way Michael B. Jordan holds different thing as being Smoke and Stack. He completely like changed how he moved, how he said things, how he accentuated things, which is actually difficult since he didn't have himself to look at to react to these roles. It was either a double or someone just saying the lines. It's difficult to actually imagine just the person standing in front of you. So that's very true.
I'm extremely excited for the Oscar Awards.
Yes, I must say it's
Yeah.
going to be a big battle between, I think, mostly now Sinners and One Battle After Another, but who knows, maybe Hamnet or Marty Supreme will shock us.
So, happy Oscar evening for those who are celebrating. Now we're getting back to the awards, seeing who wins, and we're gonna get back to the conversation in a second.
Hi, we're after the Oscars awards ceremony, and let's talk about the winners.
Yes, so were you guys surprised?
Honestly, not really, as I think the Best Picture award went just as we expected, one battle after another. What do you all think?
I think Paul Thomas Anderson has deserved this Oscar, and I'm really happy that he got it because of his entire career.
Yeah, after 14 nominations, finally
Yeah.
winning one for nominations for There Will Be Blood, Magnolia, Phantom Thread. I mean, this was a very well-deserved Oscar, right?
Yeah, right. He was thought to be like one of the best directors for a
Mhm.
few decades, and
Yeah.
now he's finally.
Achieved.
Yeah, I think it's well deserved. It's just a complete work of his films and movies. I think it's really well deserved.
And it's both deserved, I think, for his career and both for this particular movie.
Yeah, and he's been trying so hard, creating so many movies to actually achieve this. And I think it was really nice that in his acceptance speech, he mentioned other movies. He mentioned the award ceremony from 1975, right? And he mentioned how all movies are great and wonderful, and he's just lucky to take this Oscar home. I think that was very nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, and his movie, One Battle After Another, winning Best Picture, that's a great achievement. He's basically the winner of the Oscars, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's definitely a highlight of the night of the Oscars. What do you guys think about Michael B. Jordan winning the Best Actor?
I think it's very well deserved. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I know this was a close battle between Timothée Chalamet and
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, but I think in the end it's deserved. I mean, it's the hours it took to create these shots and to actually act and to create the differences between the characters. It's a well deserved Oscar.
Would you say that Timothy's role was less demanding than Michael B. Jordan's?
No, definitely wouldn't think so. I mean, Timothée Chalamet played such an intense character that was very difficult to play, and such an egotistical character, which is
Mhm.
extremely difficult. I know what you guys think.
In your opinion, should it be Michael B. Jordan or Timothée Chalamet?
Well, I think Michael B. Jordan, he really had a challenging role to play, and I think winning the Oscar is a great achievement after all the work he's done.
Yeah, and I think we have to come back to the Best Picture category, right? The One Battle After Another. I think it was such a great composition of all the elements of, the political intensity, beautiful shots, such deep characters. I think it's a very well-deserved Oscar. Do you think Sinners was snubbed for Best Picture, or is it well-deserved that One Battle After Another won it?
No, I think it's well deserved because it completed so many themes, and also those little comedian accents that were perfectly blended into the movie. I think it was just done so perfectly, and it was I could think of it as it was an effortless movie. It was just a long shot of action. And yeah, I think Sinners were really good too, but it did not compare at all.
Yeah, and as we talked before, right, the long shots, the Leonardo DiCaprio's funny
Yeah,
role and funny
definitely.
acting was perfect. It was like a mix of a bit of a comedy, but also a very serious topic. It was really challenging
Yeah, and
to
the way
make.
he gave every character some kind of a chase, that they were chasing money, passion, and they were always chasing something. It was done really good.
Now, Marty Supreme has lost all of the categories that he was nominated for, and I don't think it should have happened. I think an Oscar was deserved, no matter what Timothée Chalamet said about opera and ballet, because at the end of the day, I think it was quite subjective. Obviously, it was a stupid thing to say, but my friend was telling me the other day that it's just disrespectful for the people in the academy, because they also are from theaters, from opera, etc. But if someone is only judging Timothy's performance because of what he said, and it immediately disqualifies him, I think that's also not good. That's also not a good view for the people in the academy, because if we're gonna judge a person by their role, then we should only judge it for the role. Of course, if it would be something more drastic, something that would actually make him get cancelled, obviously then a debate wouldn't be needed. However, I think I don't know how I don't know how to feel about it. What do you guys think?
I don't think that for saying one thing by one person, the whole movie should be a bit disqualified from winning many categories, and also Timothy should not be disqualified for his subjective opinion, and it should not have an impact on the results of the Oscars.
I'm also quite conflicted, but I don't know how much influence it actually Timothy Chalamet's his words about ballet and opera actually had this much weight. I mean, it definitely had for best actor. I think that definitely mattered. But for different categories, I liked Marty Supreme, but I think it lacked something a bit. You know, like I watched it was quite. It was kind of a movie that had the same tone and same feeling, the whole movie, which for me it kind of lacked something. It wasn't, I mean, it didn't excel in anything, you know, it didn't have a perfect story, a perfect cinematography, and that's why I think it didn't manage to get into any of the categories, because, you know, I think Sinners shined with the music, you know, One Battle After Another just had a, you know, the whole package, and I think each movie had like something little for themselves, and Marty Supreme kind of lacked something. I know, that's my feeling. Okay, so guys, as you know, also, we had a new category this year in the Oscars, the casting category for best casting, and I must be frank that I thought that Sinners would win it for 100%. I mean, I heard that it was the top pick for it, and as we know, One Battle After Another one. That was quite surprising. Why do you think this happened? I mean, I think I really appreciated Leonardo DiCaprio's role. I mean, he was like perfect for this role with his image. But I don't know, Sinners kind of seemed as a very, I mean, for me, they kind of seemed as one big family in the film. You know, they really matched together their energies. But
I think no one stands the chance looking at Sean Penn. Sean Penn and Willa, but also Perfidia. Because obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio was also quite of a salient character in this movie, but Sean Penn, I think, he closes the show, and he makes it unforgettable. When you're talking about the movie, you will talk about Sean Penn no matter what, and I think he delivered with his performance, and also portraying this character of this mutated Trump. Also making it a bit funny for the audience.
Yeah, and as we know, Perfidia also was a great pick, as we talked about before. She was the perfect, I mean, resemblance of, you know,
of a tough.
Tough, and a fighter, you know, like a liberal fighter. But there was also some controversies, right, with her character. I mean, what do you...
Yeah, but like, as Paul Thomas Anderson said, she experienced postpartum depression, and she also had problems on her own, and he said that like we should not view her as a, you know, bad person, because her character was created a like bit of a anti-hero. She tried to change the world and save what she was fighting for, but at the end she really lost herself, and he just highlighted the fact that it's part of her life and sometimes it happens, and we should not only picture it on the male's appearance but only women's appearance, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I think it kind of breaks the taboo of only men leaving the family when something happens, and I think Perfidia's role was important to show that it not only happens to the male part of the marriage or relationship.
Exactly. And I also think she was shown as like 100% a fighter and a person who fought for herself and for the revolution, which is why, you know, when she had the chance, I think, to escape, to even be the anti-hero and expose everyone, she wanted to, I mean, did it for herself and to maybe even fight further. And in the end, in the letter, I mean, she mentions that she wants to reunite with her daughter and to actually encourage her to fight also, which kind of shows how dedicated she was to this revolution. And yeah, she was a complex character.
Yeah, but I think it's a really great way to break this pattern, even if it met up with many criticism. But I think it's really valid and, you know, significant for our society to understand that it's not only like males' job to do, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's very important in society right now. Exactly.
Getting back to Paul Thomas Anderson, I am so excited that he won this Oscar because when I read about There Will Be Blood, when I watched it, and I read that it didn't get an Oscar, I was furious. And now I'm a bit less furious because he got it for One Battle After Another, but at least he got it, and he got this achievement, he got this amazing award, and yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's been creating characters with so much depth and such a pattern in his characters that finally winning an Oscar for one, I'm very proud of him. I mean, for winning for at least One Battle After Another. It is for me also sad. I also watched There Will Be Blood, and it was probably one of the best movies I've ever seen of this decade. I don't know. It was perfect, which is why that is at least good, right? He even talked about in his speech that finally, after his hard work, I think he was also maybe not a bit irritated, but finally relieved that he got an Oscar for his own hard work. Yeah, and it's also his first film that got Best Picture, not only for directing.
The winner of these whole Oscars is One Battle After Another.
That's for sure. With 6 Oscars in total, it's a great achievement.
Yeah. So this was Harbinger's Magazine Film and Book Club. I'm here with our writers, Sonia Rybus, Ola Dymel, and Ania Waśkiewicz. And my name is Kaja Majewska. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.